Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Jeremy.
Hey.
Welcome, Jeremy, to the Anonymous Lab. And Matt. And we are here to talk about Game of Thrones Season 8.
Eight.
We're going to chat about some predictions, some theories, whatnot for Season 8. But first, we're going to take a few minutes to kind of just recap our thoughts about Season 7. Jeremy, now you are, I assume, a devotee of Game of Thrones.
Yes, I've been watching for quite a few years. I thought this was a good season.
Okay.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's hard to form an opinion when you hear a lot of other opinions. And you sit there
who would
and
give
you
opinions? Okay, sorry.
No, but a lot of the stuff I heard complaints about was, I think, foolish.
All right.
That's one of my things. I enjoyed a lot of it.
What would be like the main foolish comment that you feel like you heard it, you were like, whoa, that's a problem, and then you watch the show and you're like, that's not a problem?
The chains on the dragon up. I think that was this. I saw so many tweets and complaints about that, and I was like, so
right.
Why does that matter?
It is true that if you just take it even at face value of where do they get the chains, it's kind of a who cares, really? They got them. Mm-hmm. And move on.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's other things, there's other little tiny things that were, flawed, but overall I thought it got to a place where it's setting up for that final, what we're going to be talking about with Season 8, and it didn't disappoint me with the finale. I thought, it gave us some nice twists and turns and didn't upset anyone. Well,
right.
People.
Yeah, sure.
No one in the cast. Everybody else in the cast is happy.
I would say even at the weirdest plot hole moments and odd teleportation moments and stuff, it was always very watchable. So I think even at its, if you say worst, I mean, it wasn't. That's the wrong thing to say, but it was an incredibly watchable season. Yes, there were some story elements that I thought got wishy-washy. I still am not 100%. We're not going to go down this road again. But
stupid plan?
The stupid plan. The stupid plan is still a stupid plan. But we talked about that before. But it was a very watchable stupid plan. So I'm going to say yay for that.
One thing I don't think we discussed that much, or I feel as if I learned more about it since we discussed it, which is the cut scene.
From the final episode.
Yes.
With Bran talking to Sansa.
Yes. One, I think it answers the question of whether or not all that stuff we were seeing, like some people like, what were they scheming all the time, and they were like doing these improv sets where they would get each other mad.
So just in case you're unfamiliar with what Paul's talking about, there was, according to the actor who played Bran, there was a scene they filmed where Sansa shows up at Bran's door. This is after she has the conversation with Littlefinger. So she has, Littlefinger's like, what is the worst case scenario? Horrible things are afoot with his Mr. Burns hands. She then is like, well, I guess you're right. Exactly. And she goes to Bran and basically does for the first time what she should have done for the last however many weeks they've been sitting there. Hey, Bran, can you see the past? Could you do that for me? And then he does, and she's like, oh, crap, Littlefinger's horrible. And so they cut that scene out of the final. But obviously what that shows is that it wasn't some grand plot on behalf of Arya and Sansa to fake having a disagreement.
Correct.
Until the last moment. They actually had a legit disagreement.
Yes.
And then finally Sansa was like, oh yeah, I have this Wikipedia page. I should just go check that out.
Well, and I feel like one of the things Arya may have been doing is sort of saying, okay, I know who you were, and I know how sort of petty and immature you were, wanting this life, and now you have it. In a way she might have been sort of taunting her to sort of, see how she would react. You know, it's like, you know, I could kill you. I could. What are you gonna do?
Right. Well, the fact that she gave her the knife, I think that was the final way of saying, I'm on your side. Like, I'm not your enemy. It's just, my interpretation is Arya is not a well-adjusted person. Right, so she has a hard time communicating with people generally, and so anytime she's going to say anything, it's going to come off as creepy because she's like this faceless man assassin thing. That's not really a person as much as just like.
It's always the first choice is, let's see, if I stab the person, then they'll know what I mean.
Right.
But I don't need to stab my sister.
So her trying to give a pep talk to her sister is always going to come off as like.
Don't kill me.
Why are you making me cry? I don't like these sister talks.
Or the sister brother. That makes her cry too, right?
Yeah.
Well, I remember everything, including the time you were raped.
Oh, right.
Thank you, brother.
You guys are horrible people. But so they're not the best at communicating, inter-family communications.
So I'd be curious, if that stays, like if they add that into, if they cut it for the simple purpose of
time or something,
or if they thought, oh wait, this makes this plan look like a not like a
right.
good plan.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, just because since it wasn't in the finished product,
right.
it doesn't necessarily count as.
And it makes for that big moment, storytelling wise, where they literally are like, you're thinking, oh, Arya's gonna die. Oh, and then she turns and says, Lord Baelish. That's what I took it as.
I would say this.
See, I was taking it like, oh, there's going to be some really cool thing where she managed to not die, and when all these people are trying to kill her.
Acrobats, flipping around.
I would say, in that moment, Arya was way too smug.
Yeah.
To like,
cause you were like, if you guys want to try to kill me.
Like, if you thought that she was maybe in danger, her smugness was like, okay, she's in on something. She's in on some joke or something that she's, or like, you're gonna try? I could kill all of you and turn the lights off.
Yeah.
So yes. So there was the stupid plan, and then there was the Arya, and those were the main big kind of storylines, I guess, that went through the. Sorry, and then obviously the dragons. They did some nice CGI this year. Damn it. They brought the dragons to full effect,
and even just like landscaping. Like Dragonstone, some of those shots were just of the castle itself.
Yeah. And north of the wall, the Iceland shots, freaking beautiful. Just amazing stuff. So, yes, we've talked about if you go back and listen to our other videos, we've kind of episode by episode given our thoughts in specifics. So we'll jump ahead now, season 8, based on what we learned in season 7, specifically the finale.
Sure.
What do we? What are some of the things we expect to see? And obviously, I can make some pretty reasonable predictions for like episode 1. But as you get farther along the end game, it gets more and more, vague in terms of what's going to happen. But so what are some practically 100% guarantees we know?
Oh, practically 100%. Oh, I wasn't going to go there.
100%.
Okay, I think that. I was going to say John's going to die. Maybe I'm not 100% though. John's going to die.
I think that's more than 50-50. I think he's. I would go like 70, 75% chance he's going to die.
Oh, 70-25.
I feel like that's but like 100%er would be.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think.
Like Varys and Melisandre, I think 100% dead.
Cersei, 100%.
Cersei's 100%. Now we haven't seen the prophecy of her death in the show.
Sure.
The prophecy of her death is in the books, but I do feel like because we saw the first part of that prophecy.
Okay.
I think I even mentioned this back before season 7 started. I said my prediction was whatever season we see the rest of that prophecy, that's the season Cersei dies. Since we didn't see it this season, obviously she's staying alive. But I feel like either we're going to see a flashback to it, or she'll just reference it at some point and say like, "Oh yeah, there's another part of that prophecy. Said I was going to die with only 3 kids. I got a 4th kid on the way. Suck it, prophecy!" And then dead. So I do feel like that prophecy is important enough in the book terms that it's going to manifest itself in the show.
Sure.
Especially since it's already come true in every other facet.
Right. Right. So yes, I think Cersei's 100% dead. Where do we think she...
You're on 100% dead?
Yeah. Yes.
I'd probably be more positive that he's gonna die than even her to a certain extent.
Seriously?
I mean, I'm pretty, like I said, you said 100% sure, and seriously, you'd be more than 100% sure.
You're 103% sure.
Minus the White Walkers, the Night King. I think he is the only other
Villain.
It's Joffrey Ramsay Euron. He's the new he's the new Snidely Whiplash in the show.
He didn't quite get to the Ramsay Joffrey
Agreed.
level, but
Yet.
he did. Oh yeah, that's true.
He's got time.
Yeah, he hasn't been watching the show. Doesn't know how high the bar is.
Now there are only 6 episodes, so there's a lot's going to be happening. As we sort through. I assume they're not going to let everyone just die at the very end.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to space out the deaths somehow. But Varys and Melisandre, she prophesies them both dying.
That's right.
I think they're going to have on-screen deaths. So that I feel like Melisandre, because she was going east to Volantis, is going to come back. I think she's going to bring the Red Priests with her to fight the White Walkers. My guess, fire versus ice, and maybe they'll have some fiery end where Viserion, undead Viserion dragon,
Ice
does
beams
them in
them.
ice beam or whatever he's got. So it's ice ray, the blue flames of the thingy thing. All right. Well, how does the so those are 100%ers. I think Night King is 100% dead.
Or they win and it's all White Walker land.
I feel like
Or do they shake hands?
I was gonna say I feel like I've set myself up now to be wrong about the Night King. I feel like I really like the theory that it's Bronn.
You like that theory?
Yeah.
I
mean,
I don't think it's true.
Yeah, Bran, yeah.
It's not. Yeah, he's Bronn. What? Holy crap! That
Didn't get
guy.
that gold. He didn't get that castle.
Yeah. He has gone back in time. Okay, so
I really like that theory.
So can you describe the theory real fast for those of us who are watching?
So there's the theory that since Bran can warg, and he's warged into the past to warg into, which is the mental jumping into somebody's mind of, I almost said Hot Pie. Hodor, the other H character.
The hero of the whole story.
The hero of the whole story.
Hot Pie.
He jumped into his mind that perhaps he warged into the person that became
The Night King.
the Night King. And so, I'd be fine. Maybe everybody else would be pissed if some point after all the people that should die, and then he's sort of like, okay, now you can kill me.
Yeah.
It's like, that person who should be the,
So you think it's Bran
the throne.
just coming through to
King of the throne.
kill off all of the bad pretenders?
Yeah. It's like, and of course I gotta kill some other people too.
You can't throw them off. You gotta throw them off.
Yeah, I gotta.
Which is the main.
It's like, what? Come on, John.
Well,
I have to look now like I'm trying to kill you.
And that's
Oh
why.
yeah, get on that dragon and go away.
It could be why they didn't kill Sam in season 2 when he
There
saw
you
him.
go.
Way back in season 2 at the very
See,
end.
there you go.
Okay.
But I think I'm probably wrong.
It is the major problem with that theory is then what the hell is he doing?
Right.
Right. Like.
But right now, I think they've established so much. Like, I don't care so much about what people,
The way you would maybe make that relevant is to say, oh, maybe all those years being spent trapped in the Night King he's lost his humanity and he doesn't really know who he is anymore.
Right.
The
Or
Night King doesn't realize that he's Bran.
He hasn't said that he really does know the future. He just hasn't said it. And so therefore, these people just have to die to make this thing happen. That's all. Hey, I've been around for a long time.
So let's assume for a second that it's not that.
Okay, that's fine. You can
All right.
take the rest of the show to assume it's not that. I'm setting myself up to be wrong. I
It is an
like
interesting
the theory quite a lot. That's all.
I even saw there was an image
Yeah.
comparison.
They look alike.
And they do look. Their nose has that same
like
nose.
They're trying to send it off again. Like, is it Littlefinger warging in the past and trying to fool us again like that? I mean, it's like, fooled you.
So let's
look
just
like the guy just to fool you.
So assuming that it's not Bran, that Night King is a separate character, it is the mystery that I really want to know is why. Is what I'm hoping that he's not just a force of nature. I'm hoping it's not just they've been trying to get past the wall for thousands of years, and now they're past it, and they just kill everybody in their path. He's a storm, basically. Like, oh, he's an act of nature. I don't want that. I want him to have an agenda. I want it to be more of an intelligent enemy.
Don't have an agenda in your mind where you're like, all right, I'm fine with that agenda.
Yeah, I think...
Like, maybe he just goes through and then, like, sets up in one of the lands that everybody's dead now.
Well, I mean, then that could just stay in the lands you had, then. I don't know. You're like, I want that land. Maybe.
Once it's warm again, it's like, oh, the north is always, but now we're.
So here's a thought I had is maybe it's a very specific wish that he, as we saw the flashback to him getting turned into the Night King, as you discussed. Yeah. So what we know from that guy, he was a human.
Yeah, we do know that.
We assume that's the same guy, right? It hasn't been I think in the books there's a series of Night Kings, but in this case I think that guy is the Night King in the show.
I think that's the assumption.
That's what I got out of it. Mm-hmm. So we know he was a human and he was an adult, so he had a life as a human.
Sure.
He probably had a wife and kids maybe or whatever. He didn't look happy to have what was happening to him, so he was tortured.
He was not volunteer.
So maybe he wants his life back. Maybe he's the way he feels like there's something south of the wall, whether it's the Citadel or something in King's Landing, or maybe it's Bran, but something south of the wall will help him undo what's been done. And so, all of his army and everything it's all me. But,
maybe that's where the working is involved. Somehow bringing his consciousness back or something.
Yeah.
Allowing him to be like, "Whoa, what am I doing to this ice body?"
Right.
Don't.
But I saw some theories that there's we haven't been here in the show, which is why I don't know that it's time to bring in new places and people just yet. I mean, maybe, but there's this Isle of Faces. Have you heard about this thing?
No.
It's in the south, and it's like a ton of weird trees, and it's apparently where the first men made their original pact with the children of the forest. So maybe it holds some kind of special magical powers. So maybe that's his destination.
Like, if you could just let us go here in the first place,
exactly.
And kill all of you.
I know. I almost see the idea of going to the Citadel and then I can't read these books. Burn it. I do feel like the Citadel's going to burn. I feel like it's to the Library of Alexandria that they're going to, and then the only thing left will be the stuff that Sam took out of it.
All this history is lost.
Bring back Broadbent just to be like, oh no, I was so wrong.
I was wrong. Because he's the one who said early in season 7, all these people that said the end of the world, well, the walls always stood up. Famous last words. And and it fell down.
Not very difficultly either. It just that dragon took care of it.
So do we feel then like the whole surrounding Jon in the lake was a trap to get the dragons? I mean, what would have been Night King's way through the wall but for a dragon? Do we know?
Yeah, good question.
Yes,
it's like
he was part of the plan all along. I mean, maybe they thought at some point if they were there, it'd be like, trying to get over or whatever, and then she would come along.
She'd show up to and they're like, "Hey, great!
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, we had to wait so long.
We ordered the Dragon Uber. I don't know why it's not here." So Jon saved them some time, perhaps. Okay, so we are going to. I mean, we almost have to see the Golden Company. They brought them out. They talked about them.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a large army that is theoretically in service to Cersei. What do we see as the 6-episode arc for them?
For the Golden Company?
Yeah.
Could you introduce? Would there be like a leader of them that they'd introduce? As
That's what I was thinking.
A new villainous, or kind of like,
or maybe it's somebody like Dario or something,
or like a likable character. Even he could be
somebody we met from the East already. That's now I don't know. I'm saying I feel like Dario is I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying.
Right.
It seems a little weird to introduce a brand new. But I guess 6 episodes, you could still, if you did it early enough, maybe you get the arc. But I feel like the Golden Company is going to encounter the same problem that we were trying to deal with in the first place, which is, hey, we have our squabbles, but this is the main problem, and so I feel like they're going to be asked to make a choice too. Like, hey, great, I hear you're in debt. You can always attack us later. what's really a problem is this, and then maybe they join forces. Maybe that's their arc, is that they assist. They're like a timely assist in the battle against the dead.
I don't know. I guess I hadn't thought about that. They'd get involved. Somehow I thought that they would be part of a plan to an interior plan. Like, oh, now that they're all fighting a war, let's go, attack these other people.
Yeah.
And somehow either somebody would have to fight them, or they'd be successful, and then it'd be a part of, okay, we killed all these White Walkers, now let's go back and deal with Cersei, now this has happened. I mean, it's possible they'll deal with that as it's going on and kill Cersei, and then the last battle will be the White Walkers, but I think it's possible that they will somehow miraculously beat the White Walkers, and then come back to deal with Cersei, who's amassed all this, like, okay, now while you were sitting around, I just took over, and now you have to deal with me this way.
I think that's the way it's going to work. I think she's the end result person. So we have producer Steve joining us. Hi, producer Steve.
Wait, is this the room where we're filming about Star Wars? Is this Star Wars?
This is not Star Wars.
I'm out of here.
Okay. Oh, sorry, producer Steve. That's coming. Okay. So I do think that the White Walker threat is going to go fairly far south. I mean, whether they're going to this Island of Faces or not, I think, for instance, Winterfell, I think is done. You tell me, but I mean, I think you got to show them having success, right? It couldn't just be like, well, they broke through the wall and we got rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 8,000 years. I'm glad to. Woo!
Yeah, we were so worried about that.
Yeah, what the hell? So I feel like
off camera when they just run in talking about it like Shakespeare.
Oh, did you hear that time? The time when the dead showed up for 5 minutes? Well, that was pretty bad.
Everybody else is dead. I'm the only one who made it.
Yeah. Woo! So I feel like episode 1 or 2 is going to be Winterfell taking it in the teeth. I mean, they're going to. I feel like that is going to get overrun, and you're going to see zombie Northmen. Like I don't know. You could have headless Sean Bean coming out of the crypts. Hold his head. I don't know, but I feel like Winterfell is done, and I feel like then where does it end? Like, do if they go to this Island of Faces, I guess that would be where it ends. But it makes more thematic sense in some ways that it ended at King's Landing somehow. Like, they get all the way to King's Landing, and this is where the final battle is. I'll mention one thing that was inspired by one of our awesome commenters, Bev. Bev makes, thank you, Bev.
Thank you.
And Bev made the comment like, oh, Cersei's going to use the wildfire at some point and do horrible things, to enemies. And in my response back to Bev, I kind of like half-assed came up with what was actually a reasonable theory. So I was thinking to myself, all right, let's assume just near the end of the show, because the walkers they're all the way down to King's Landing. That's end show stuff.
Sure.
Cersei, let's say by this point, has died. Maybe Jaime killed her off. There was some kind of reunion. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she'll meet her. And maybe Jaime then is dead as well.
Yeah.
Maybe Tyrion has taken over. I don't know who would take over after Jaime and Cersei died. Euron, maybe if they've gotten married. If they haven't gotten married yet, no.
I feel like Euron will die before them. But.
Yeah, that's a good point. He'll be dead too. So let's say Team Dany now has control of King's Landing.
Yeah.
Tyrion knows about the wildfire.
Yeah.
Maybe what they do is, I don't know. Let's say they do like a Dunkirk. So they've got all those boats that Euron used to have. Now, let's say Theon's got them after he saved his sister or something. And they evacuate all the people from King's Landing in the boats, leave a hull of a city with they pretend that there's still activity in the city or something, like, hey, everybody, I'm going to town just like I always do. Right. It's Home Alone. They pull a Home Alone with some paint cans, and a pet spider. And then, so they lure in the walkers and then blow the city.
See, you were making me think, maybe they pull a Star Wars, build a new sept.
We're talking about Star Wars. Yes.
Build a new sept. Get them all to go into the sept. Boom! Do it again. Boom! Blow it all up there.
Death Star Part 2.
Yeah.
What would be interesting about that idea would be if you go back to the beginning, this history that Jaime was Kingslayer because Aerys was going to blow up the city, and to save the city, he killed the guy. Now you'd have a Lannister maybe making the decision to blow up the city, also then blowing up the Iron Throne, which would break the wheel that we're talking about.
Broke that wheel.
It would kind of it would be representative of destroying the system. At the same time as destroying the bulk, because wildfire, I assume, would consume the whites.
Yeah, because of the fire in there. Oh, no.
Yeah, they don't. Who knows if it even kills the white, like the Night King and stuff, because they walk right through the whole thing.
Right. I don't think it would kill the Night King. I think the Night King's going to take a special. I think they're going to have to pull the shard out of his heart. I think that's the way you only.
Oh, yeah, that's.
I'm thinking.
very
Reach in and go.
So
has us.
Brandon would be like, "Come over here, so I can tell you about this."
Yeah.
Shard.
Slink, slink. But that goes into this idea of breaking the wheel. What do we think? I feel like they brought that notion up enough, and Daenerys is talking about breaking the wheel, and Tyrion reminded her of that this season.
Sure.
What do we see as breaking the wheel? What does that mean?
I would imagine that if all the people who are leading all these things, like you have like Jon in the north and the Greyjoys, whether it's Euron or
Sam
Yara,
Tarly.
yeah, all these people who are heads of these houses and these kingdoms, if they all are fighting or dying in this battle, then all of a sudden it's a broken kingdom that had to unify together. And if we no longer have an Iron Throne to rule, and all of a sudden Dany's sit there to divvy it up. That's my picture. Someone's sitting there at the very end going, okay, what do we do now? Maybe it's Tyrion. Maybe you said Jon died. Maybe Dany dies. Maybe none of them make it through except for like Sam and Tyrion, the two smart guys.
Hot pie. Hot pie.
They're hungry. They're going to be hungry.
They are going to be hungry. He knows how to make a mean pie. So are you saying then it's like they divvy up, they have like representative government is what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe it's
by the heads of the houses or something?
Well, and Tyrion was
like
kind
of parliament.
Yeah, Tyrion was kind of getting at that idea when he was talking to Dany about who's going to take over for you.
You mentioned the Night's Watch.
How they vote for everything.
So if that's the case, let's assume for a second that I think Daenerys is going to be pregnant. I think she is going to be pregnant with a kid. Now, maybe she even has the kid, depending on how long this battle goes. But so I think as long as she's pregnant, I don't think they'll kill her off pregnant.
That's true.
So I think it's kind of like her plot shield. I don't
think so.
okay. All right.
Never stopped him.
It never stops. Because I feel like Cersei, because they're going to have the two pregnant queens, but I feel like Cersei's probably going to lose her kid fairly early. Because I don't think the prophecy didn't give a fourth child.
So you think she'll have a miscarriage?
In fact,
Or just
there was one of the leaked scripts that came out from the end of episode or last episode. No, I mean this has already happened.
Yeah, it's already.
Okay.
But so it was right on most of its stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it had one scene where Cersei has a miscarriage that wasn't in there. So could be that they intended to have her miscarry last season, and if so, then it's probably going to be a miscarry.
Yeah, probably filmed it already. It's
Whatever.
probably happening.
Anyway, I don't know. That's a leaked script. Who knows? And it could be something totally stupid. But
could have been somebody stole and then wrote in the part they liked.
Yeah. Woo! I do feel like there was not going to be another kid. I'll just say that. There's not going to be another Lannister kid.
Oh, yeah,
one way or the other.
Yeah, that's why I think she's going to buy it.
Maybe she buys it while pregnant.
Does she? Is it possible she actually gets turned and doesn't win? Cersei. And
turned. What do you
like
mean?
if
Turned
she
into a
like
wife?
how we thought that they convinced her to fight alongside them, and now like with the end of season 7, we're sitting there saying, well, and she betrays them. Well, she's done. Is it possible she joined like at the very last moment?
Okay.
She turns good.
Oh, turns good.
That baby brings it back out of her. Or
I would say hell no, but sure, right? Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen.
It's probably not more likely that she'll be turned into a white.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think she's redeemable at this point. I don't think she's going to pull the redemption arc. I think the redemption arc is Theon, if anybody. But But so I do feel like this. So let's say Daenerys survives. She has her kid plot armor, which you don't think is the plot armor, but whatever.
No, I don't.
Let's say she survives. John's dead. She's now and she was her dragons and pretty much responsible for the kingdom winning. So the kingdom's on her side.
Sure.
Kingdom's like, yay, Queen Daenerys, and she's a Targaryen. That's awesome.
Right.
I feel like maybe in her effort to break the wheel, maybe she abdicates authority, and it's like, you know what? If I'm on the throne and then my kid's there, I'm just going to keep that wheel going.
Sure.
You guys are going to meet up. We're going to have a parliament. I'm going to go back to Essos with my kid. I don't know, whatever. But she basically makes that very strong decision to say, this is the thing I wanted all my life, and now I realize maybe it's not so great to do this for the country. I'm going to step aside, maybe.
Her and John just go live on an island.
Her and John?
Or if John's alive. I don't think John's alive, but I think
See, I think
it's her and John's kid.
I think
John Jr.
It's possible that
Aegon Jr.
I think it's likely that John will die. I think it's possible that, I'm not so certain that she'll make it through either.
No, she's not 100%er in terms of either way.
Yeah,
I
so
feel like
I'm not sure that Danny was going to make it.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of a lame.
I just feel like if there's a kid involved, she's going to survive for a long time. I think that heir is going to be there. I think that kid's going to get born. So she's going to be alive for 9 months.
I think it's possible that she could know that she's pregnant, and then she ends up dying to really break it.
Oh.
Whoa.
That'll break the wheel.
What?
No more Targaryens.
She just blew my mind.
That's right. That's it. Last of the Targaryens, man.
She's
Let's let the dragons roam free.
I can't let this kid be born. I'll kill myself.
Or if those dragons
credits.
get turned,
End credits.
and then
End of the
they
show.
finally kill the White Knight or whatever it is, the Ice Knight.
The
Night King.
Night King. The Ice
Night
Knight.
King.
I like the Ice Knight.
And then boom, everybody he turned dies, and therefore if he turns the final dragons, boom, they die too. No more dragons, no more Targaryens.
She's not gonna turn the final
I'm
dragons.
just making all kinds of shit.
All right. I did. Speaking of dragons,
And it's Bran, and
I like the idea of I feel like there's going to be a dragon fight. I feel like we're going to have Drogon versus Viserys.
see how they avoid it.
Right. Blah, 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 blah. But also what would be interesting is, I don't know, just metaphorically, narratively speaking, Khal Drogo killed Viserys. They're named, the dragons each are named for fighting Drogon kill Viserion. Huh? I don't know if he pours gold on his head, but whatever. He breathes gold. Liquid magma.
Swallows a few coins and...
Yeah. So there you go. What are the little things? Little fingers? No, little... He's not coming back. Although if he's at Winterfell, get ready. They're going to sweep through, pick up everybody.
Just starts talking in that voice again and as a dead guy.
He's got a...
What about the John's lineage? The fact that he's
All right, so he's a Targaryen. So
how is that going to play in season 8? You think?
I feel like the kids are back together now. I think we're going to see. He's going to arrive at Winterfell, and finally, all of the Starks, you call him in quotes. He's a Stark, whatever.
Yeah.
Are all back together. They weren't together since the first season. So that I think
First
once
episode.
good point. So once they're together, there'll be some squabbles about you're a Targaryen, part Targaryen. But I feel like I don't think that's going to be a giant rift. I don't think they're going to be get out.
No,
I don't think you have no place here. I mean, could be, but I don't think so. If there was going to be a rift, it would be Sansa, obviously.
Or him and Danny.
Yes.
I'm just curious how John. I'm curious to see how it is a little thing. How John's gonna react to finding out that that's his aunt.
Yeah, no, right. So that's true. So from the Targaryen, from the Stark standpoint, maybe still happy family, but yeah, the relationship between Danny and John is going to change dramatically. Methinks, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have played it off as like, no big deal. But the producers of the show did mention in that little 5-minute thing after the finale, they're like, oh yeah, when they find out, it's going to create real problems emotionally and politically. So, yeah, so Dany's about to find out that she's not in line for the throne,
Right.
and that she's the aunt of this guy, and he's probably going to be maybe. I would say he's going to be more ooh about it than
I
she
think so.
is, because
I think
her
so.
family has been kind of
Yeah.
inbreeding a lot,
And-
but he's not. Starks haven't really necessarily done that.
No, and he's Mr. Stand Up every time. Like, what in July? What? Because
Yeah.
I told the
Yeah.
truth.
I mean, like him having sex with Caitlyn Stark. I mean, which would just be like, what?
Yeah.
Catelyn.
Ugh.
Anyway, so
Oh yeah, Caitlyn. He's not
Caitlyn.
related to.
Yeah.
Formerly Bruce Stark.
So he's I mean, for instance, is that the last time that they have sex? Are they like, okay, because they're going to find out as soon as they hit Winterfell, probably episode 1. It's going to be the pull aside moment where Bran and Sam are going to be like, we got something. I'm going to tell you, he's not going to believe him at first, probably, but they're going to probably Bran can give enough insight to prove it again.
Can he?
I don't know. You
Vulcan
would
mind meld?
believe these notes that he got sent? I mean, what? You're in person? No.
No. That's true. He believed that Bran could see beyond the wall, so why didn't he believe that he could see the past? So yeah, once he finds out, I think there's going to be an emotional distance between them. Or maybe he'll just withdraw generally, like it's just better if I don't talk to you.
Right, and it's hard to believe that would happen, and then she did not get pregnant.
Yeah, I think the pregnancy's on.
There's a real emotional thing. They're talking about how the effects of, like they always talked about how with the inbreeding with the Targaryens that's what made like the Mad King mad, and they set the theory of why Joffrey was so crazy was because of the inbreeding. So then she's gonna have her baby and find out that it's
I see, it's a bad seed,
and then they're gonna like say that to her, and then there's back to Paul's theory where she breaks the wheel.
Oh yeah, breaks the wheel. Oh,
That's really
breaks-
that would not be.
or they have the kid and it's like a Damien thing.
They've killed
You just take it to the zoo. If the zoo animals all go crazy, then you're like, all right, kill this kid needs to
Yeah, they gotta
die.
see what the dragons think.
Turn your head.
Right, so check the scalp. There's some numbers on there. So yeah, I guess if what we just discussed of the army coming south, if they come, and let's say they go all the way to King's Landing, that would take, in Westeros terms, that would take a while. Theoretically, she could have the kid by then, maybe.
Oh really? Oh wow.
I don't know. Does it take 9 months? I don't know.
I don't know. I can't. Who knows where everything?
Well, then the
They can if they
baby
wanted
isn't
to.
even growing at all, though. On top of that,
What's that?
the baby that Sam,
Oh, yeah.
baby, like it's barely even aging.
It's
Meanwhile,
it's an ageless thing in a basket. Yeah, so Sam is going to survive the show. I think Sam survives. Yes? No?
Yeah, sure.
he writes it.
Why
right?
not?
He
Yeah,
Lord
probably.
Rings it.
Maybe. Just the there and back again. Tolkien reference. Just put that one in. Boom, got one in. I was taking my Tolkien reference for the week. That and also the Night King is somewhat reminiscent to me of orcs being tortured versions of elves in Tolkien's world.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, I was a normal dude tortured into this horrible creature that everybody hates." Wow. All right, there you go. Tolkien reference number 2. Boom. All right. Anyway, so there we go. Season 8.
There you go.
Now you know you don't have to watch it. Now we've told you everything that's going to happen.
There you go.
So
You don't have to wait a year and a half.
yeah, 2019
Take a
probably.
little off.
They're going to start filming in October. They apparently, I did see that they're picking a site for a new castle in Spain that supposedly has a round tower that would be indicative of Storm's End, the Baratheon stronghold that we haven't really seen and is probably at this moment empty. It's Gendry's home if he ever wanted it. But so that might be a location that they'll be shooting.
Or a flashback.
A new one for maybe flashback. Maybe they
Brand Vision.
take up. Maybe I'm forgetting if Storm's End is. It sounds like it's probably on a body of water, so maybe it's like we can escape across the water.
That works well.
To right out the
Everybody
storm.
on the boats.
So there you go. Anyway, Thanks so much. We'll be back with as Game of Thrones stuff comes up. If there's some interesting stuff to chat about throughout the next year and a half, we'll talk about Game of Thrones. But we're gonna be jumping into some other shows in the near future. Paul is roping me into Mr. Robot.
I am.
So we're gonna probably cover that. We're gonna cover Stranger Things 2. Well, when Westworld comes back, we're gonna talk about that. Hey, and if you have an idea for a show that we should cover, write it in yon comments down here. Is there a show that you are interested in particularly, good sir?
It's not as nerdy of a show, but I watch Narcos. I actually just noticed that came back on Netflix.
All right.
Other than that, Man in the High Castle.
I was gonna say Man in the High Castle.
I have not watched that show yet.
Which is interesting because there's all the controversy surrounding with the Game of Thrones creators, the Confederate.
Oh yeah.
And that's a show that's
And like
essentially the same
Germans in World War
plot.
II, right?
Yeah. So yeah, and that I don't know when that comes back up, but that's Amazon Prime and it all comes out at once. Should be sometime soon, I would
These
think.
damn binge things. It's tough to go
I know,
over them.
and then,
You can
like-
pretend you know a lot. Oh, I have a feeling in episode 2 there's going to be a big change.
Comments.
Yeah.
He dies. He's dead.
So yeah. All right, anyway, so yeah, if you have some ideas for some shows we should talk about, please mention them, and we will consider such. But yes, until then, we will see you next time for the Dork Lords. Bye, everybody.